Well, moving on to other news, Saif Ali Khan today ceremonially took over his father's legacy. He was anointed the new Nawab of Pataudi. He spoke to Shekhar Gupta, his first interview after his father's death.
It must have been a huge, very big shock to the family because nobody was prepared for this.
No, and I think least of all, Abba. I think the most painful thing for us was that his tremendous will to get over it and fight it and go on holiday, and he wanted to get out of that hospital as soon as possible.
Right.
At no point did he succumb to the idea of this being what it was.
Right.
So that was sad because the doctors had pretty much told us that it is going to be fatal. It's just a terrible thing to see. Yeah.
Idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. Yeah, terrible thing. But you know, it also speaks for the popularity he had because he was such a benign Nawab. You know, to the contrary of the connotations that the word Nawab has.
Yes.
That you have all these people gathered here today.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, in our family, I think it's never just been about being the Nawab or being a Nawab. I think my grandfather is as far back as I can go, unfortunately. But I think more famous for getting 100 against the Australians for Jardine and then saying he doesn't want to play bodyline.
Right.
And coming back home.
Right.
So acts of, I think, gentlemanly acts of
Genuine chivalry.
of some sort of chivalry, I think.
Because he would have said bodyline is not quite cricket.
That's what he said. He said, I don't want to field in the leg trap.
Right.
Okay, again, my father, I think, less as a Nawab, to my mind. Of course, there is, his lungi and kurta and his like for classical music,
Right.
but not at all. I mean, even films has a strange and rather negative connotations when it comes to Nawabs. I have a funny story about that to tell you later, if you like. But
Tell me now.
Well, I was dubbing for this film that I did a long time ago called Kya Kehna.
Right.
And there was a dialogue in that where one of the chaps catches me because I'm not being very nice to his sister and says, Haramzade something something. So they had some censor problems about certificates, so they had to dub over Haramzada. So they said, what do we do? What do we do? So the guy said, well, the producer or director said, just say Nawabzada. It's the same thing. I said, really? Okay.
Feeling now, whatever you might say, in a way, symbolically, the mantle is on him, on you.
Yes. I mean, it's more than that, actually. I mean, up until yesterday, it's something that one takes seriously in terms of this home is our ancestral home. I mean, my grandparents, my father is buried in that, at the end of that garden. But today, when this ceremony was happening, there's something so simple and I think honest and beautiful about the villagers and the village heads in India. And when they look at you and sort of, give you that kind of, even if it's symbolic, showing of some sort of respect, which obviously I'm undeserving of. I think it's a very humbling experience where you're at least conscious of some kind of responsibility.
But you said someplace that you found this a bit anachronistic.
Well, it is. I wouldn't like to. None of us, even my father, I don't think me or anybody would like to think of ourselves as, the only thing that you do. Your family is your background. It's not the foreground. It's not what you do. You must have some kind of job or profession or some other contribution aside from that. And then added to that, it's lovely if you can come home to something like this.
NDTV's cricket app, Android and iPhone, fastest scorecard, special analysis, and much more. Download free. ndtv.com/apps.